In 1750, a pretty renowned Catholic theologian penned this prayer, and in it, he declares that the Virgin Mary is, quote, powerful over God.
Which is quite a phrase.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if that phrasing just completely stops you in your tracks, you aren't alone. To a modern ear, it just sounds like, well, a glaring theological error.
Right. It sounds totally backwards.
Exactly. It sounds like a creature is being placed, above the creator, which fundamentally breaks the first commandment. It just upends the entire hierarchy of traditional monotheism.
It really does.
But, you know better than to just take a text like that at face value. I mean, you're deep in the weeds right now writing your book, Finding Mary. You understand that when you're dealing with historical texts, you can't just read the words on the flat page. You have to really understand the context, the culture, and the intent behind the ink.
Which is exactly the mission of this deep dive today. We aren't here to debate the theology itself or tell anyone what religious stance they should take.
Right, and no side-taking here.
Exactly. We are just going to examine this specific text from St. Alphonsus Liguori to uncover why he deliberately chose language that seems, so intensely provocative, and how it reveals this profound shift in how humanity actually understands authority and family and power.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because on the surface, saying someone is powerful over God doesn't just sound poetic, right?
Right.
It sounds like a structure claim about authority.
Yeah.
It reads like a mandate.
Yeah.
Like it implies she's the one giving the orders.
It absolutely reads that way to a modern audience.
Yeah.
But to understand the mechanics of what Liguori is doing here, what's fascinating here is we have to look at a concept called omnipotentia suplex.
Wait, omnipotentia what?
Duplex, yeah. It translates to suppliant omnipotence.
Okay.
So in Catholic theology, Mary is understood strictly as a human being. She possesses absolutely zero independent power. Like, none at all. Any power she has is entirely participatory. So when the text describes her as having, power over God, it is exclusively referring to the power of intercession.
Okay, so it's not about giving orders.
Exactly. It's not about issuing commands at all. It's about the unique influence a mother has over a son who loves her perfectly.
I mean, I'm struggling with that a little bit, honestly.
How so?
Well, if she has zero independent power, then calling her powerful feels like, I don't know, a massive theological loophole.
Yeah, I can see that.
Why use that specific aggressive word if it basically just means she's asking for a favor?
Because the theology argues that her requests are never refused.
Oh, I see.
Right. She is, quote unquote, all-powerful only in the sense that her intercession always moves her son to act. It's not a legal mandate. It's this deeply relational dynamic.
Yep.
And the foundational scriptural model for this, if you look back, is the wedding at Cana in the Gospel of John. We all know the story. They run out of wine. Mary points it out. But the crucial part of that narrative is the friction in the dialogue.
Right, because Jesus sets a very clear boundary there. He says, my hour has not yet come.
Exactly. He is laying down a definitive, boundary-driven timeline. He's basically saying no.
He's establishing a strict limitation.
Yes, but Mary ignores the legalistic boundary entirely. She leans completely on the relational bond. She just turns to the servants and says, do whatever he tells you. And then Jesus proceeds to perform his first public miracle.
Wow.
So the theological takeaway here isn't that Mary overpowered his divine will through, brute force. It's that her quiet confidence and her intercession moved him to act prior to his stated timeline. The power she exerted was purely the power of love and influence.
Okay, if I can try to ground this in a secular way, think about a young child who supposedly has power over a parent.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Right. Because the child doesn't hold the deed to the house, they don't pay the bills, they literally have no physical or legal authority.
Not at all.
But they hold an undeniable influence. If a parent is perfectly loving, they willingly choose to be swayed by the earnest plea of their child. The child's power isn't a threat to the parent's sovereignty, The parent's willingness to yield is actually a testament to their own capacity for love.
That captures the relational mechanic perfectly. The parent isn't defeated. They are choosing to participate in the bond.
But, okay, even if we accept that relational mechanic, taking a single interaction at a wedding in the 1st century and then, cementing it into a formalized theological stance in 18th century Italy, I mean, that feels like a massive leap.
It really does.
Where did the structural blueprint for this whole mother-son dynamic actually come from?
Well, the blueprint predates the 1st century by hundreds of years.
Really?
Yeah. To find the architectural foundation of this dynamic, we have to look way back at the ancient Davidic kingdom. In the Kingdom of Judah, the monarchical structure was entirely different from what we picture in, like, European history. Kings in the ancient Near East had many, many wives.
Right. Polygamy was standard.
Exactly. And because of this polygamous structure, the most powerful woman in the royal court, the woman who held the actual political and relational capital, was never the king's wife.
Because there were simply too many of them to elevate just one.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Elevating one wife over the others would completely destabilize the court. So the highest-ranking female figure was the one woman who could not be duplicated or replaced, which is the king's mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she held a formalized official office known as the Gabira, which translates to the Great Lady, or the Queen Mother. She sat on a throne at the king's right hand, she wore a crown, and her primary political function was to act as an advocate for the people to the king.
So how did that mediation actually play out in the daily life of the court? Like, was she just a sounding board or an advisor, or did she have tangible authority?
We see the exact mechanics of it in the first book of Kings. King Solomon is on the throne, and his mother, Bathsheba, enters the royal chamber.
Okay.
Now, Solomon is the absolute ruler of the kingdom, but he physically stands up, bows to his mother, and orders a throne to be brought for her to sit at his right hand.
Wow. The king bows to her.
Yes, and before she even makes her request, he says to her, "Ask on, my mother, for I will not refuse you."
I will not refuse you. I mean, that is the functional definition of omnipotentia suplex right there.
It is the exact historical precedent. And the theological bridge here is that Catholicism views the New Testament as the fulfillment of the Old. Jesus is viewed as the ultimate fulfillment of the Davidic king.
So Mary steps into that role.
Exactly. Therefore, Mary automatically assumes the role of the new Jabira. If Jesus is perfectly fulfilling the law, which includes, the commandment to honor your father and mother, then the immense honor and yielding a perfect king gives to his mother is exactly what we're seeing in Liguori's text.